Hello, this is Sanford Manufacturing, right? Always great doing business with you. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time. I'm sorry for the sudden text. This is Caroline Matthews with Matthews Industries.
Oh, yes, good evening. You must be Mrs. Matthews, wife of Mr. James Matthews of Matthews Industries, is that right? No problem. What can I do for you, Mrs. Matthews?
I'm so sorry about earlier. I visited you without an appointment. I was really short on time. I hope I didn't interrupt anything important. And thank you for allowing me to exchange line info with you. Just so much easier conversing this way.
Oh, please, it was no problem. We've been doing business for a long time. We've been rescued by Matthews Industries countless times in the past. So if there's anything I can do for you, just ask. When we exchanged line info today, you mentioned that there was something you wanted to discuss, something that was confidential. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I really couldn't talk about it when I met you. Like you said, it's confidential. And it's something that could be potentially quite devastating for your company. It would cause quite a commotion if one of your employees heard about this and rumors started to spread. You know what I mean.
Information that's devastating for Sanford Manufacturing? Now, what could that be? I'm not aware of any company takeover or anything like that.
Oh, no, not a takeover bid or anything like that. It just involves our two companies. I'm really sorry to break this to you, but as of the end of next month, we will cease all business cooperation with Sanford Manufacturing. From the following month, we will no longer require that you provide us with your products. We will receive the last order on the 31st of the next month, and after that, I regret to say, no further business will be conducted. We at Matthews Industries really appreciate your partnership these many years and hope you will continue to prosper.
Pardon me? Are you saying that you're going to sever all ties with our company? But we currently have a major product consignment agreement with Matthews Industries. That would be devastating for our company. Are you sure of this? Has Mr. Matthews agreed to this? What did you mean by cease business relations?
Exactly what that means. There will no longer be any business transactions between Matthews Industries and Sanford Manufacturing. It can't be any more clear than that. I really hate to do this. Our companies have been doing business for years, but it just couldn't be avoided. It's nothing personal. We had to make some drastic cuts in our operation. Regarding your current products that you provide us with, we are in the process of ordering from a foreign manufacturer at a way lower cost. But the quality is just as good. I'm sorry, but it's competition. We have to survive in this dog-eat-dog world. Therefore, all existing contracts with Sanford Manufacturing has been terminated. I was going through all of our current contracts, and the product agreement with you was just coming up, and I looked into it, compared prices, and came to the conclusion that we would not extend that contract.
This is all so sudden, Mrs. Matthews. I don't know how to react to all this just yet. But such a drastic decision at a time like this would disrupt our entire operation. Our contract agreement with Matthews Industries is a major business partnership. I'm sure you are well aware. And you're telling me that this substantial business collaboration will suddenly end next month? It's unthinkable. Do you realize the impact this will have on our entire business operation?
I understand your concern, but the decision has already been made. We are not exactly doing well either. We have to implement these drastic measures to weather the storm. Like I said, it's nothing personal, all business. I really hope you understand. It's a decision we had to make.
I understand that you have your company's interest in mind, and the economic situation is not all that great, but from next month? Seriously? I wish we had more advance notice so that we could get our marketing team to somehow cover the shutdown, or in a worst case scenario, cut some of our staff. I really can't accept this decision. We should have been given ample warning. To be honest, if you cut us off, we may go bankrupt. Do you realize that? I would like to speak directly to Mr. Matthews regarding this matter. This certainly is not like him. I need to hear it directly from him.
I'm sorry, but that's just not possible. My husband is currently on business overseas and won't be returning until the end of next month. He left me in charge. His schedule is fully booked. If there's anything you have to say, you talk to me.
That's not possible. I need to speak with him. I beg of you, please. Could you think this over? We've been business partners for a very long time. Doesn't that count for anything? We've done your company numerous favors in the past. Please, I ask that you reconsider. Our companies have been in business together since my grandfather's time. To cut us off like this is just not right. I took over this business from my father, and we continue to do business together for the last 15 years. We're almost like family. As for our product, we even have orders from overseas, much less domestic clients. The quality and workmanship of our products are top-notch. A cheaper foreign product would never match our high standards. So I ask you, please reconsider. Let me speak with Mr. Matthews. After all these years, are we not allowed this courtesy?
Please, this is getting tiresome, Mr. Sanford. I wish you would just accept this business decision and end this pleading.
Pardon me?
All this talk of long business relations, or that we're like family, or about the quality and skill of your workers, it means nothing. What it comes down to is profits. Contemplating all what you said would only hamper our business. You're in the business of making money, right? And we're not a charity either. As long as we can obtain products that are inexpensive, we will be fine. A very simple business decision, don't you agree? My decision will allow our company to increase our profits and expand the company. And eventually my son will take over as president and all will be fine and dandy. That's all I'm concerned about.
I'm not sure what you're getting at, Mrs. Matthews.
You just talked about your grandfather starting the company, so you're well aware, aren't you? What I'm saying is, I'm Mr. Matthews' second wife.
Right. I'm aware of that, but...
Which makes it all easier for you to understand. I have a son. He just graduated from university. But he's not directly related to Mr. Matthews, the president, and so he's sort of in an inferior position when it comes to family ties. I'm sure you understand. For example, there's the problem of Mr. Matthews' son, who is 3 years older than my son. So what I'm trying to do here is build a sound business record for him so that when the time comes to select the next president, my son will take the credit for making the company such a success and thus be appointed the new president. What I'm trying to achieve is to convince everybody that my son is a much better choice than his real son. That's the reason I'm making this sound decision to cut costs. We cut production costs, such as with Sanford Manufacturing, and voila! Profits go up and everyone's happy.
Let me get this straight, Miss Matthews. You're doing this in order for your son to someday become president, and you're cutting ties with our company just to achieve this goal of yours?
Simply put, but yes, you're exactly right. That's the plan. This stuff you talk about, family ties, quality products, good craftsmanship, none of that matters. Of the customers buying our products, none of them can tell the difference. They're not that sophisticated. The products you make all look the same. Everything is hidden from view anyway. Reminds me of that saying, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, then it may just be a duck. So that's why I'm cutting you guys out. We'll be getting our products from a cheap foreign manufacturer, which will save us a bundle, and we'll see our profits skyrocket.
Are you serious, Miss Matthews? You cut us out just for that reason? So let me get this straight, Miss Matthews. You don't care what happens to our company as long as you get your profit, is that it? Do you realize what you're doing is totally unprofessional? This is completely unconscionable. No way that this is legit.
Professional or not, it does not concern me in the least bit. Nobody gives a hoot if an insignificant company like Sanford goes under. It's of little consequence to us. There are plenty of other companies out there like yours and way cheaper. What's more, my son's career and my future is on the line here. I will do anything to make that a reality. There is no way I'm going to throw in the towel for that patronizing son of his. That will never happen, you mark my words. This is all getting very tedious. For the last time, we at Matthews Industries no longer need your services. So now, no more of this begging to reconsider BS. Just accept the fact and go on your way if you don't mind. I'm really busy right now.
Okay, Ms. Matthews, I hear you loud and clear. As you wish, we will no longer provide you with our product. The last batch we shipped should arrive by the end of the week. That will be the final shipment. Please convey our appreciation to Mr. Matthews for the many years of business that we enjoyed, and we regret this unfortunate outcome.
No way! Why would I do that? Anyway, he's overseas for God knows how long. Too much trouble to get in touch with him. Just don't show your face around our offices anymore. Thank you.
Hello, this is James, right? James Sanford? Did I get the right line address? This is Randy from the time working over there. Holy smoke, Randy! How the hell have you been? It's been ages. I hear you took over your father's business. How's that going? It's going great, thanks for asking. It was a bit hectic at first, but business is gradually picking up. I really have to thank you for that, Jim. I was able to apprentice at Sanford Manufacturing for a few years and learned some very important lessons while I was there. It was tough at times, but the experience I gained was invaluable. I learned that quality, skill, and hard work is important. And what's more, you taught me the importance of maintaining relationships. But I only just started, so We're still struggling, but I'm optimistic. Come on, Randy. You're being way too modest. I saw the article in the Times the other day. Something about an up-and-coming young company president. There was a big photo of you in the article. You're looking pretty good. Please, Jim. You're blowing it all out of proportion. The Regional Times is just some 3-page local paper. Nobody reads that thing. Still, they wrote about you. Local paper or not, I never got that kind of treatment. You should be proud. Man, I'm so glad you were so successful. I'm looking forward to see how you'll do going forward. I'm rooting for you all the way, Randy. It's all thanks to you and your father. You guys took me on as an apprentice and really showed me the ropes. It got me in shape to take over my father's business. Enough about me, Jim. I recently heard about the trouble you were in. The story is that Matthews Industries terminated the contract you had with him. I thought you were in good terms with him. I remember I dealt with him regularly while I was there. They seemed pretty content with the products you were providing. What's up? Wow, that was fast. It's a fairly interrelated industry, I suppose. Yeah, I heard of several other companies similar to yours that we do business with and they got sacked. I got a call from one of them that even one of the major outfits got the boot, meaning Sanford Manufacturing. Yeah, it's true, we got the boot all right. The wife of the president, Mrs. Matthews, sort of just decided on it out of the blue with no advance warning. We were taken completely off guard. I'm not sure what Mr. Matthews feels about all this. Apparently he's overseas at the moment and won't be back for quite some time. So there is nothing I can do, really. Anyways, it's pretty devastating for our firm. If only we had a little advance warning, we could have taken the necessary steps. I won't go so far as saying we'll go bankrupt or anything, but I don't know what to do. I don't want to have to lay anybody off, but I may have to down the line. I have a suggestion, Jim. If you've already been cut off by Matthews Industries, what do you say about working with us? Pardon me? Like I said, we're gradually growing and I was just thinking about expanding. It may be an opportune time for us. The banks are happy with our record and they're willing to invest, so it may be a good chance to repay you for all you taught me. Besides, if Sanford Manufacturing could work with our up-and-coming company, it would certainly boost our image, not to mention our profits. To be honest, I was going to contact you a lot sooner for advice, but as you know, it's only been a few years since I ended my apprenticeship with Sanford. I didn't want people to think I was relying on you guys to run the company. Just stupid pride. I know. You had a pretty big account with Matthews Industries and figured you wouldn't give us the time of day. This may sound insensitive, but I think it's great timing. If you lost that account with MI, could you do work for us? What do you say? Are you kidding me? Of course we'll do it. I should be begging you to give us work, to be honest. Really? Are you sure? Man, that would be great. I never thought I would be able to work with a prestigious company like yours. You guys are a legend in the industry. Did you know that? Anyways, we should discuss the details on how to go forward. Would you mind if I stopped off at your company tomorrow? I mean, if you have the time, that is. I know you're busy and all. It would be great to see everybody again. It's been years. Stop by anytime you like. Pick a time most convenient for you. I'll make the time. Wait till I tell everybody who's coming. They will be overjoyed. Get ready for a wild reception, Randy. And Randy, thanks for this. You're a godsend. Please, Jim, I should be thanking you. I can finally repay you for all that you did for me. Okay then, let's talk tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing you again and everyone else.
Mr. Sanford, are you seeing this? Please reply, would you? I need you to ship us those products by tomorrow. Same products as before, please. How many boxes of those parts can you provide? We would prefer about 20 units or whatever you guys can manage.
Pardon me? Who's this? Oh, is this Mrs. Matthews again? I thought we concluded our business already. And what are you talking about shipments? We have no units to ship at the moment. Besides, I thought we terminated all contracts with you. You no longer wanted our business. That was last month, as I recall. Weren't you going to get your products from overseas? A more inexpensive producer or something? Wasn't that what you said?
Yes, well, the whole thing just didn't go as planned. The language barrier is so bad, nobody over there speaks any English, for God's sake. We weren't even able to put in an order for the longest time. You would think someone over there speaks English. Anyways, we finally got an order in, but then there was this labor strike over there and all operations were put on hold. Can you believe it? The products finally got loaded onto the shipping crates when a storm hit, and the ship was diverted to the nearest port, and it apparently sat in port for days. How they can even manage to maintain customers, I have no idea. Well, All this trouble only adds to the overall cost. Delay insurance. Not to mention reimbursing our customers for the delay. It's just one big mess. We finally received the shipment today, and it turns out the configuration was all wrong, and the quality and craftsmanship were of really low quality. As you can probably imagine, our product processing line has stopped operation because of this inadequate component.
Oh, really? I'm so sorry to hear that. That must have been quite devastating to your overall operation.
At this rate, we may have to cut cost. We'll probably be in the red. So I figured we should give up on receiving those components from overseas. So I came to the conclusion that we will require your products again. Therefore, I'm willing to reconsider and use your products again. So if you can ship them out ASAP, I would be more than grateful. Let's forget about what I said last month and let's resume business. What do you say? I already have the contract ready, so let's get this signed and have these shipments in by tomorrow if you can. Oh, yes, and the cost must be the same as what it was for the overseas products, not a penny higher. You got that? That would mean you will be required to deduct approximately 30% from your standard pricing. I'm sorry, but times are tough.
No, Mrs. Matthews. I'm going to have to pass on this offer. I mean, seriously? Do you really think I would sign such a lopsided contract? 30%? Seriously? As a matter of fact, even if we went back to the usual price, we will never do business with Matthews Industries ever again.
Hold on a minute, Mr. Sanford. What are you saying? That you aren't going to send us the products?
That's right. You terminated our contract, so we no longer have any business relations with you. Simple as that. And I have no intention of signing any new contract with you either. We will not be producing any products for you going forward.
How could you say that? We've done business for years. We're currently in a dire situation. Are you just going to let us suffer the consequences? Just have the unit shipped to us ASAP. I demand that you do so.
Sorry, we have no connections to Matthews Industries anymore. You are no longer one of our customers, and we cut all business ties with you.
Hold on a second there. How can you even say that? Do you know how many years we've given you business? An insignificant little manufacturing firm like yours, we practically built your company. You should be grateful. You really know how to repay us for making your company a success. Such arrogance.
I should be saying that to you, Mrs. Matthews. You had a good thing going here. You had a quality product shipped to you on a regular basis without any delays or disruptions over the years. When there were any problems, we solved it immediately, sometimes even reimbursing you for any unfortunate issues. But then it just cut us off without any prior warning so you could obtain a cheaper product, which turned out not to be so cheap after all. I remember you saying that quality or past history of our relations was of no concern. Isn't that what you said? Anyway, if we made our products at a 30% discount, we'd go bankrupt overnight. We wouldn't make a cent working with you. So why would we do business with Matthews Industries if there was no incentive in doing so? After all, we are not a charity.
All right, have it your way. Forget the 30%. Just charge us at the usual price then. Just get those parts over here ASAP. No delays. You got that?
Have you even heard a word I said, for God's sake? I said we will never do business with Matthews Industries again. Do you understand English? We will no longer have any business relations. So, no more shipments. Not tomorrow. Not ever. You got that? Anyway, we have a contract with another company and our product processing line is full. No matter how much you scream bloody murder, there is nothing I can do about it. We're full up.
Have you gone totally bonkers? Do you really think you can treat us like that? We're a major company around here. You think you can continue doing business without us? We could crush your little manufacturing firm with one phone call if we had to. You're making a grave mistake by denying us. You do understand, don't you, Mr. Sanford?
Go right ahead, Mrs. Matthews. Give it your best shot. I'd really like to see you try. But I must warn you, Mrs. Matthews, you're way in over your head on this. All those companies you gave the boot to, well, as it turns out, they're all on my side on this issue. Or do you plan to bankrupt us all? All those companies have agreed to never do business with Matthews Industries ever again. We've contacted all our other business partners regarding this matter, and they have all agreed to cease business with you. By the looks of it, you seem to have lost all your clients. Congratulations.
Seriously? Does that mean we won't be able to receive any shipments from you or any other company? You have to be kidding me. How do you expect us to continue doing business? All our operations will be forced to stop. You can't do this.
Yeah, looks that way.
Please, James. I ask you to reconsider. I apologize, so please, let's talk about this. I'm sure we can work something out. There's no need to cut all ties, right? Please, I beg of you. At this rate, our company will go bankrupt.
I don't think anybody will care if a company run by the likes of you goes under. You have no understanding or compassion for people. People run these companies, not machines. Even if your son took over and ran the company, I doubt it would have lasted very long.
How could you say such a thing? My son would have made a great CEO. But please, help me out here, please. Let's forget the past and start over, please.
You dug your own hole, Mrs. Matthews. I suggest you find a shovel and dig yourself out somehow. Connection to people is very important in a business like this, or for that matter, any business, big or small. Don't ever trash talk small businesses like ours ever again. You got that? Okay then. I'm really busy. I better get back to work. Thank you for all these years of business. I wish you luck. Goodbye, Mrs. Matthews. A few days later, Mrs. Matthews visited the company asking for a meeting, but I refused to meet with her. She stood her ground and would not leave. She eventually made such a scene that the police were called, and she was hauled away screaming and yelling. A few weeks later, Mr. Matthews came back from overseas, frantically demanding why the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. I heard he was furious with his wife and son and had them kicked out. Apparently, he divorced her a few months later. Mr. Matthews came to my office and apologized for the damage his wife caused all the subcontractors and offered to reimburse us for any damages incurred while he was gone. He brought all his staff members to my office and then begged us to reconsider. We all gave in, and eventually we resumed business with MI under more favorable conditions. Last I heard, the former Mrs. Matthews and her son moved back east to her family's home. If only she hadn't been so greedy, she could have led a quiet and comfortable life as the president's wife. What a total waste. She could have been happy. I'm super busy now that we're doing business with Randy's firm and with the rekindled relationship with Matthews Industries. Business is currently going great. We even had to add more staff because of the heavy workload. This was all thanks to Randy, who contacted me at just the right time and saved the day. Having good friends is important. What else can I say?
Mom, hey, where did you go? Right now, Dad is looking all over for you.
Huh? Is this you, Ed? Are you using your dad's phone again to try and text me?
Well, Mom, I don't have a phone of my own to text you from, so I had to take his.
And a boy in 5th grade doesn't need to have a smartphone at his age, right?
I know that, but Dad told me that when I needed to talk with someone else in the family while they are out, I could use his phone and text. Also, Dad had a small accident with his hand, right? And so he can't use his hand to text you right now.
Yeah. I knew that man was going to care more about you than anyone else. But if he really wants to spoil someone, he's better off doing that with my daughter, who looks just like me, since she is definitely the better looking one of you two.
You're talking about Avery, right?
Yes, that's right. You already know that I'm in love with all things that are both cute and beautiful. And that's why I'm only in love with your cute older sister, Avery.
Mom.
Just a second ago, you had asked me where I am right now, right? Well, I'm at the airport right now.
The airport?
I'm going to be taking your sister to France with me, and she's going to become a supermodel with the help of her mom.
She's going to become a supermodel in France?
I'm going to take her to Paris with me, and we'll find her a modeling agency who will take great care of her. And you are far too ugly to be a kid of my own, so I won't be needing you anymore. Well, you only ever ended up as a kid of mine because your dad brought you along with him in the marriage, so I don't even have to call you a part of my family anymore. So please don't think anything bad of this, okay?
Dad is asking, have you filed out any diverse paperwork yet?
Tell him that the paperwork is sitting on the coffee table in the living room.
All right. Well, then that's fine with me, is what he said.
Huh?
Well, Dad just said that about you a second ago, but I feel the same way about you as well now. Have fun in France, Mom. Bye-bye.
Hello, Ed. This is your phone number, right, Ed?
And who am I speaking to right now?
This is your mom, Andrea.
What?
I've heard about how you've been doing so well for yourself, Ed. So now you can look up to me as your mom since I was able to get you to this point, and I can feel good about myself again as well.
I'm sorry to say this, but I don't believe I'm speaking with my mom right now.
Well, it has been 10 years since we last met, and I'm sure my number is different from the one I had back in those days. But look, I'm your mom. And if you're wondering how I got your number, I was able to get it from your aunt. Your aunt was kind enough to tell me that you're getting into the showbiz yourself there, huh? And that you'll be going into Hollywood for your debut, right?
That freaking dog. She's really gone and done it now.
Hey, come on now. You should not be speaking about your aunt in that manner, okay? It's because of her that I'm finally able to talk to you again, and you can finally speak with your mother once more. I bet you're so happy to finally hear from your mom again after 10 long years of waiting, right?
But I already told you, this is not my mom's number that I'm currently speaking to. Also know that she has only one phone and she's never told me nor anyone else that she has another. So tell me, what the hell do you want?
Come on, Ed. You don't have to give me such a cold shoulder. I know it's been a long time since you've heard from me, but you should still know how to talk to your own mother, right?
Look, can you quit it with all that BS?
Huh?
Are you kidding me? Can you not tell by the way I'm talking to you right now that I don't see you as my mother anymore and that I never want to again?
Huh?
You and that girl of yours, both Dad and I don't care about you guys. And all you do is bring back our bad memories by talking to me again. So go the hell away. And never try texting or calling me again.
Ed! This drama that I'm watching right now, I can tell just by looking at your face that you're the one playing the rival to the main character, right? I saw your name in the opening credits, and that face of yours is the same as when you were back in 5th grade. I totally get it now. Back in the day, you were a bit of an ugly duckling, but now that you've grown into a young adult, I have to say that you are one handsome-looking gentleman. Amazing. So you really are my son after all.
Ugh, you're texting me again?
Hey, do you really think that's the right way to talk to your own mother? It's not. So you'd better start talking to me in a polite manner from now on.
You're not my mom. And that is why I'm talking to you like the annoyance you really are.
All right already, all right. I get it that it's because of me that you've become this amazing little actor. It's because of all that wishing and praying that I did to have a child of mine turn into an actor that you've become such an amazing person, right?
Seriously?
And compared to you, your older sister Avery, well, let's just say she's not doing as great.
What's happened to Avery?
Well, her and I are coming back to the States soon.
Weren't you and her trying your hardest to get her to become a supermodel or something?
Well, that didn't ever really turn into anything more than just a dream. I thought for sure that since she's a natural beauty, she'd be able to make it in one of those agencies over there, but of course, those French have a different idea of who's beautiful or not. So in the end, any agency we went to never gave her a chance to model, and any private work she tried never ended up being scouted. And what's worse is after failure, she began to eat a lot more bread and stuff to fight the stress. And let's just say she's gained a few pounds. Really, she's no longer a beauty whatsoever, but rather the definition of an obese person. Seriously, I cannot use her at all now. But this is why, to me, you were the perfect son any mother could ever ask for. My prayers were finally heard, and you turned into the most handsome-looking young man imaginable.
Well, I didn't get this far because of you.
Huh?
The only reason I've become an actor is because I wanted to become one. So I put in the effort to get to where I am now. To tell you the truth, it's supposed to be the manager's job to be here with me to help me diet and make sure I stay up to date on roles, right? Well, you haven't been here for me these past 10 years, nor have you ever been my manager. So screw you.
Huh?
Also, people don't just make it in a modeling or acting business by looking good.
Ed!
You have to be able to act as well, whether it's on stage or in the studio. And you have to be able to work to become the character you want to be, which takes weeks to perfect.
Wait a minute.
So you have no right coming to me acting as though you've put any work or care into me? Therefore, please, for God's sake, just leave me the hell alone so that you don't cause me any headaches anymore. Seriously, stop talking to me. I'm not messing around right now.
Seriously, Ed? Don't you think you're going a little too far with all this after having blocked your own mother's number now?
Are you kidding me?
I had my phone number changed so that I could get in touch with you again.
I told you already, stop trying to get in touch with me anymore.
Oh my. Well, why would I ever want to stop talking to my son? Are you really sure you want me to stay away from you even longer than I already have? I plan to become your manager soon so that you can become even more famous.
What?
You don't have to try and keep me at bay anymore. I promise that I'll do everything in my power to make sure you get as many roles as you'd like. And if you're worried about me having any experience, just know that I've been the manager for Avery for the past 10 years, and I did a wonderful job at it.
By wonderful, do you mean you failed her on multiple occasions, and that's why you're back?
Huh?
As from what you've told me, you didn't take Avery anywhere as her manager, and only led her to becoming fat and sad about her life. You told me that yourself the last time we chatted about her.
Well, that was something else. It had nothing to do with me as her manager, rather do with her way of thinking. She didn't have the drive she needed to become a supermodel, and that's why things didn't work out for her. But you're different. I know that with my help, I can take you to the top.
Well, I'm already on my way there.
Huh?
My manager happens to be one of the most well-known in the Hollywood world, and she also happens to be my mom.
Your mom? Ah, right. So this is your way of saying that you want me to be your manager, right? Understood, Eddie. I'll make sure to make you huge in Hollywood, and make sure that you and I never have to worry about falling out of the spotlight ever again.
Wrong. I'm talking about how I already have a manager and mother, and she's not you.
What? What do you mean by that?
My dad happened to get remarried about 8 years ago.
Huh?
And not only did Dad end up getting remarried, but he did so with a woman who he ended up having a baby girl with. And she has the most beautiful face and figure. But, unlike you, she's not the kind of person to only care about those that are attractive looking, and is willing to love everyone in her family very much. And so because of her warmth, I've been able to forget about the cold past that I had with you as my mother, and can now live a new life as a successful man.
That man, he got remarried to a new woman? And not just that, but had a girl with her?
And that's why I've been saying that you're not my mother this whole time. It's been 10 years since you left Dad and I, so I have zero clue why you're back here now trying to talk to me like you ever cared about my family. But if you really think that you have any chance of getting back into this family as my dad's wife, then you're strictly mistaken, as there's zero chance of that happening now.
What?
That's what I thought.
I have no other choice right now. 10 years ago, my dad, who was a very wealthy person, passed away. And of course, after his death, I received a lot of that money in his will from him. And when that money came to me, I thought it would be the perfect chance for me to get my daughter to become a famous model. And that's why I took her with me to France and started to make her model.
I see. So that's what Dad was explaining to me about after you left us?
During the first year, I was never able to land her any modeling gigs, and so I just thought that was a part of the industry. And since she didn't have a name for herself yet, I decided it would be better for the two of us to start conforming to life there first before getting into modeling. But then it was 2 years, and then 3 years, and time just kept on going without us ever seeing any real work come for us. And during that time, Avery graduated from an international high school there. That was the moment I thought she'd really put all her time into modeling, without the need to study, but I was wrong. But then I started to really have a closer look at her, and it appeared to me she already gave up. And the food there had gotten the best of her. She was no longer the beautiful young woman I pictured her as, rather a model for some weight loss ad. And it wasn't just that. I noticed that a lot of the money from my father had dwindled away, and so I had to make the choice to bring us back to the U.S.
What?
The house that your sister and I had been planning on living in is no longer there for us. And so right now, we don't have a place to go home to.
Right. Currently, your mom is in an elderly home, spending the last couple of years of her life being cared for by the nurses there.
What?
I heard from her that she used the money left over by her husband and the money from the house when she sold it to get into a really nice home where there are all sorts of amenities for her.
You're kidding. So that means there really is no place for us to go?
And that's not all, actually. You ended up taking your daughter away with you to another country, even though she never really wanted to. And while there, you used up not only your own money that you received from your late dad, but also the money that was supposed to be left for her. There were apparently a few other people that were supposed to get the money from your late father, who never did because of you.
What are you talking about? Where is my mom right now?
I have no clue where she chose to go, besides that it's good for her.
What?
So far, everything I've been telling you has been okay to tell you, as the other parties involved don't seem to mind you knowing. But even if I did know more about your mom, I wouldn't tell you, as she never gave me the permission to.
Hold on a second. If you're not going to tell us where she is, how are Avery and I going to live?
Think about that one yourself, Andrea.
Huh?
There's another thing. As for that aunt of mine that ended up causing you to learn about my current situation in the first place, the whole family has stopped talking to her. So if you're trying to go for her for more information regarding me, you won't learn anything more than you already know.
Huh?
Now, I have to get ready to head into the studio for another session of takes, so I'll be going now.
Huh? Wait a second, Ed.
I'm blocking you again.
Right now I'm stuck in a cheap motel with Avery and we don't have much money left to keep us here. When it's all gone, we'll have to move into the streets. Hey, I'm only asking you this one time to please give me a place to live, just for a little bit. Ed!
There was one last thing that I never ended up explaining to Andrea, and it all had to do with the information that was left over regarding her late father's money and assets, and who they all went to. On that sheet of paper, she could probably take a closer look at it and learn where her mother ran off to, had she just taken the time to do so. Of course, Andrea or Avery could still think of that as an option and take a look for themselves, but I was never gonna recommend that to her, as I just don't care about either of them. So whatever happens next with those three will be left unknown to me. And a couple days later, Andrea and Avery both appeared to have figured out where I was currently working in Hollywood and came to find me. But of course I told security of this, and they made sure to stay on the lookout for these two. And when they were spotted around the studio, security called the police, who then came and grabbed the two of them, where they later found some information on distant relatives of them who they ended up calling to come get them. And within a day, a black minivan pulled up outside the police station to pick those two up, and then they were gone for good. My dad later called me to tell me that distant relative was Andrea's younger sister, who ended up taking those two into her company to work for her day and night for the rest of their lives. It was such a relief to learn that Andrea and Avery could no longer touch any of us anymore, and ever since then, I've been able to live in peace. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Jill, when are you going to be coming back to my brother's house after being at your parents' place for so long? Hi there, Maya. His name's Little Man, right? Well, it's been 3 months now since you gave birth to Little Man there, right? Little Man? Yeah. There have been a few things going on here, and so I haven't been able to leave just yet. And my older brother is all right with you just staying there for that long and never coming back to him? Of course he is. And I'm not going to be here too much longer. Actually, it was him that told me to stay here a bit longer in the first place. I had some things that I needed help with, as well as needing to help with. Oh, is that so? So that's what's been going on there. What do you mean by that? Nothing in particular. I didn't mean to make that seem like anything, actually. I just thought that since it's been so long since you've left your parents' place, maybe you and my brother ended up getting a divorce or something serious? LOL. I see. Well, there's nothing like that going on between us, so don't worry. Your brother and I still love one another very much, and have even had a baby now to prove that. Well, that's too bad, actually. LOL. Ugh, it was only a matter of time. I knew you'd say something like that, Maya. I'm sure that you're trying to mess with me to make your feelings for me known, but because of how much you hate me for no reason, it's actually quite funny, LOL. What? Looks like my boy is waking up now, so I have to go and see if he needs any food. See ya. Axel, thank you for coming over here a few days ago. It was nice of you to bring all those snacks for us, as well as the blanket I'd asked for.
Hey, Jill, don't worry about it. How's your mum's lower back been doing? I know it was in pretty rough shape the last time I came over. Seems like she was still having a tough time bending over to grab things.
Actually, she's gotten a whole lot better now, which is a huge surprise for me. And I feel that me not being around the house anymore might be all right with her. She seems to have a hang on things again, and doesn't really ask me to help her either now. And she's even able to help my dad again, so that's some miraculous progress.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
But based on timing, there's still another 2 weeks, right? I know that I'll have to come back there at least once soon, but having to bring the baby with me might make it a bit of a challenge, and he's so used to being here now.
You have a good point there. I'm sure you want to get everything you need to taken care of quickly as possible. So it's better to not have our baby mixed in all the commotion.
Well, while I go, I'll make sure that my parents keep a good eye on him, and see if he even notices me being gone. That way I'll have my hands free and should get everything handled within a day.
Oh, well, if you do that, he might be alright. If you don't have a problem with doing that, then I'm totally on board.
Then I'll go ahead and have a talk with my parents about that and the plan. Since my mom's back is getting better, I think she won't mind spending the day alone with her grandbaby. LOL.
Alright. And when you have more details on what will happen with that, let me know. Now I need to start getting back to my office to finish up today's work.
Okay. Thank you for everything, Axel, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Jill, are you on your way here right now?
Yeah. I took off just a half an hour ago in the car, and I'm at a rest stop right now going to the bathroom before getting back on the road.
I see.
Did something happen that I should be aware of?
Well, something that's a bit of a problem has come up. I was just asked to come into work today out of nowhere. I was told by my manager that one of our systems is having some issues and that I'm the only one that should know how to handle and fix said issue.
Oh, is that so? Well, that kind of hampers our plans a little.
I think if the issue is what I think it is, then I'll be able to come back home by later this evening.
All right. I'll do what I can when I arrive at the house, but it'll probably take me a bit longer because I won't have you around to handle the heavy stuff.
I'm sorry about this, but try and take it easy. If need be, you can call my uncle and I'm sure he'll come to help.
I'll see how everything goes for me first. Good luck with work today, and I hope you're able to fix that issue soon. Jill! You're coming over right now, right? But be warned that you're not going to be able to get inside the house. Because this house is now going to be my house. I've already gone and sold all your things to a pawn shop just a bit ago, and used the money from your things to pay for the moving truck to bring all my furniture and stuff. LOL. Man, I was kicked out of that apartment I'd been living in before by myself, and this whole time I was looking for a good place to move into. But because of you guys, I've been able to move from that musty one-room apartment into this large and open place. I'm so lucky. Ah, and another thing. This house is going to be where my boyfriend and I start our romantic lives together, so you are not allowed to even step onto the property. LOL. Goodbye. LOL. What? Maya, what's all this about? What is this about a huge and open house? That's... Ah, you're finally responding to me. You took so long to reply, LOL. I was in my car driving home, but right now I've stopped at a gas station to take a break and grab some food. Maya, what are you doing in some stranger's house right now? I told you. Starting today and going forward, I'll be living here with my boyfriend. In other words, you no longer have a house of your own, so go on back to your parents' house, please. LOL. How did you get into the house with it being locked? I don't ever remember you having a key to the place. When we were all back at my parents' house a while back, I found the key in my brother's key case and stole it out of there for a few hours to make a duplicate. You've gone and done yet another needless thing. Why would you do something like that? Because you and my older brother are going to be getting divorced, right? Huh? Why would we do anything like that? Because the reason for you taking so long to come back to my brother is that you wanted to stay there with your parents because you don't love my brother anymore, right? And I've noticed that ever since you went back to your parents' place, my brother had to go there more and more often. That right there is something a man would do when he realizes that his wife is never coming home and wants a divorce. LOL. I can see that you've really gone off the rails and started making up a fake scenario. But there's a reason for me staying at my parents' house a bit longer. There have been a few things going on here that required me to stay. What are those few things? Well, to start off, after having my son, my health wasn't doing too well and my energy wasn't coming back. And after around 2 months of slowly getting my energy back and planning on going home, my mom ended up pulling her lower back pretty badly. And since I still had a bit of time left before I needed to go back to work, I decided I'd stay with my parents a bit longer and help my mom around the house. But my brother has been wanting to get a divorce now too, right? I know that for sure. Because I was at my parents' house for a longer time? That's right. I'm sorry, but you're just making things up now. I know I just told you this a second ago, but I took all your things and sold them to the nearby pawn shop. LOL. So now there's not a single thing of yours left in this house for you to get. LOL. I can see that you're set on the idea that all of those things you just sold were my things. The furniture, the appliances, clothing, and so on. That's right, LOL. When I came into this house, there was nothing in any of the other rooms besides the one with all your things. So I assume my brother already moved out and back to my mom and dad's place to prepare for the divorce, LOL. Well, all of that was stuff that I didn't need. Huh? A while back, we had planned on moving out of that house. While I was back at my parents' home waiting to have my baby, Axel worked to get the house all packed up so that we could move out. And that room closest to the front door was just where we placed all my unneeded things. And all the things we planned to have taken to our new house is being kept in a storage unit close by to the house. Huh? Is that right? I'm sure when you went and sold the desk in there and my drawers, there was nothing in them, right? Did you not notice that? Now that you mention it, the person at the pawn shop never said anything about needing to remove anything from inside them. And another thing, I was planning on coming back to that house to finish cleaning all of my stuff up and selling it myself, as well as to clean out the house and make it look relatively new again. But now that you've done a lot of that, you've helped me a bunch, LOL. Huh? And so for getting that all taken care of for me, you can go ahead and use the money you made selling my leftover things on whatever you want. Wait, could that have all been you trying to mess with me again by thinking that you could force me out of the house? Well, thanks for that. What the heck? You're just trying to act all tough now because I've stolen your house. LOL. Well, no matter what you try to say to me, my boyfriend and I are making this house ours now, and we're going to renovate it any way we please. Okay, do whatever you want with the place. You're still going to act tough in front of me? LOL. I'm not going to feel bad for you after doing this, so don't get your hopes up that you'll get the house back. Huh? We have already changed the name on the front of the house to ours, and we've gotten rid of all your things in this place. So no matter what, no matter how you try and cope with it, this is my house. If you come here, we'll call the police on you. LOL. I still have some things to say. What now? Huh? You can do whatever you want there, but only for today. Huh? I was only planning to use today to clean the place out and fix any issues that still might have plagued the house. But now that you guys have done most of that for me, I'll be handing the house back to the landlord tomorrow. Huh? Hand it over? To the landlord? Jill, what is going on now? An old man just came here and kicked the two of us out of the house. And just before he had the two of us kicked out, he told us to both clean all the corners of the house until it shined and there were no more stains. And everything we had just moved inside today, all the furniture and appliances, he had us take them all outside and into the yard. I had just made our room into a cute and beautiful space for my boyfriend and I, and that man had us tear it all down and ruin it. And at the end of all this, my boyfriend yelled at me saying he never asked to have something like this happen to him, and he ran off. What is wrong with this geezer? You still don't understand? What am I supposed to understand after all of this? Do you know who the owner of that house actually is? I do. This house belongs to my brother, right? He was the one that bought this whole house the moment you got married to him. I remember how it was so old and run down when he first bought it. But then he did a huge reformation on the house and made it look so nice that even I was jealous of it. And that's why I've come to take it now. Well, that house is the place that your brother and I have been renting from a distant uncle of yours. Huh? Jeez. I'm glad that I kept the fact that we were moving out a secret from you and your family for a while. If I'd told you about this all sooner, you might have started to act like even more of a spoiled brat. And we might have had to call the police on you or something for trying to trespass. Why would you do that? Because you'd be trespassing. Well, actually, you still have been since that's not our house. Maya, really, you've really done it this time. You're lying, right? Axel! Where did you and Jill move to now? Tell me the address, please.
What do you want? I don't have time for you right now, Maya.
I tried to talk with Jill some more about this, but I think she's gone and blocked me now. So I can only talk to you now, Axel.
By the way, just a few days ago, didn't our uncle have you taken care of after going into his house?
Well, I don't want to be around him anymore, and that's why I'm going to come to you now.
You think so?
At this point, I'd even be okay with living around some ugly hag like Jill, because I'd at least have a place to sleep. Ugh, if I don't hurry up, he's going to come and get me again. Tell me where your new house is now.
You think I'm going to let you come and live with us after you said such horrible things about my wife?
Huh?
For a while now, the two of us have been wanting to go overseas, and I think it's about that time.
Overseas?
Yep. I'm sure you are aware that I work in the same company as Jill does. But for a while now, we've had plans on moving out of the country to go live somewhere in Europe with our baby boy. So we're in New York at the moment, staying in a company house, getting some training so we can be relocated to an office over there.
New York? That's too far for me to drive all the way to.
Stop acting like a brat and go back to your uncle. I'm sure that he's willing to let you start working for a company he owns even.
He told me that I'd have to go to every floor of the office building and clean all the toilets on each floor for him, and I can't use the elevator.
Really? Well, that seems like a good way to get you to stop acting so spoiled and learn how to become a responsible young adult.
It's not good.
Do your best, Maya.
I don't want to. That last conversation that my husband and his sister had over text was later shown to me by him. But right after that, he told me that he really wants to move overseas now and get away from his sister as soon as possible. But I told him we still have training to complete yet, and that I want our boy to at least be 1 year old before we go, and so he'll have to wait. LOL. And as for Maya, who's now under the care of her distant uncle who's even allowed her to work for him, she's doing just as she'd said, and is having to clean toilets on every floor of that office building 3 times a day. And since she never was the kind of person to go out a lot and move, her body had a hard time keeping up with the stairs she had to go up and down, leaving her in pain as her muscles cramped up. But I've heard from Axel that the next thing his uncle has planned for her is that once she's gained the strength to start getting all the cleaning done on time, he'll begin to give her even more tasks so that she never feels the job is easy. And by doing that, she'll hopefully begin to have a change of heart and realize that she can't force her way into everything without there being consequences. I just hope that plan works, and that one day my son can meet his only aunt back in the US. But if that can't happen, it's probably for the better. LOL.
Yo, leader of these stupid contractors. We are going to make your delivery date even sooner.
Good evening, Nick. You can call me Candace, by the way. I understand that my company is full of contractors that supply parts for you, but it'd be nice if you still referred to me by my actual name, please.
Sure. So you're gonna get those parts to me even sooner, right?
I'm sorry to say this, but I don't believe that we can.
Huh? Are you kidding me right now? You're nothing more than the leader of a small contractors group who does nothing more than make spare parts for larger firms like me. And you're saying you can't get a job done sooner for me?
I'm just telling you the reality of the situation, and asking for those parts sooner isn't going to happen.
Then in order to make things go more quickly over at your factory, I'm going to be sending some of my men over to help. Mike, Brent, and Stuart.
Huh? Are you sure you want to send those 3? As far as I'm aware, they're all your top 3 performing workers, and they shouldn't be asked to come help with my team. And haven't they been with you since you started?
What difference does that make to me? I'm sending them to help you out because those 3 ended up stabbing me in the back. So I had them all fired for that.
Don't you think you've gone a bit too far by doing that to them? They might even take action against you for doing something like that.
Well, it's not like I fired them wrongfully. Those 3 men wanted to change their occupations.
They wanted to change? Wait, you have to understand that those 3 are too old now to be changing their lines of work now.
Jeez. No matter how much I try and break things to you, you can't seem to get a grasp of things. The reason I'm giving them up is because I've hired some friends of my own, and I needed to make space on my payroll, and did so by firing those 3 geezers.
You hired your own friends?
I had some friends who went to the same university as me who said they were looking for some work. And they told me they wanted an easy job that paid them well. And so I made it seem as though those 3 old men stabbed me in the back some way, and then had them fired to make room for my buddies.
Are you being serious?
I'm being very serious right now. So let's get back to what I came here to talk about. I don't need those 3 anymore, so you can go ahead and take them on as your employees and get the work I'm asking for done quicker. Then you won't have to keep making excuses for why you can't get any parts to me.
Hold on. I understand that you want this conversation to wrap up pretty quickly here, but I just want to make sure I have this all down correctly. You originally asked me to have my product to you sooner than the date we had agreed on, but I told you that no matter how much harder I pushed my workers, that wouldn't be possible. And so now you're going to give me 3 of your best men because you've hired some of your own friends to take their spots, and want your 3 best men to help my factory get said work done. However, what happens if we're still unable to get that work done at an earlier date?
As long as you take on those 3 old men, I don't care if you continue aiming for our previously discussed target date.
Understood. So that's going to be our agreement then today?
Correct. So what do you think?
Well, actually, I have one last thing to ask. I'm not completely sure what kinds of skills and trades these 3 men I'm about to hire have, but are you really sure you're okay handing them off to me?
Those 3 are able to get any work you ask them to get done. And they're all willing to work overtime whenever asked to make sure any quotas are hit. And as for their skills, you don't even have to worry about that considering they've all worked pretty much every job they've been asked to, and have done them well.
Well, if later down the road you ask for me to give them back to your company, please be aware that I will not.
I'm never asking for them back. They've grown far too old to help me now, and most of their motivation's down the drain now. Go ahead and fire them from your company if you ended up never needing them.
Is that so? Well, if that's what you want me to agree to, then so be it.
I'm not sure how helpful those geezers will be for you, but understand that me getting rid of them will not hurt my productivity in the slightest. So they're all yours now.
Then starting tomorrow, I will be taking on Mike, Brent, and Stuart to start working for me within my company. You don't mind that at all, correct?
Go right ahead. They are already being fired from my company, so you don't need to ask me for permission before doing anything with them.
Is that so? Understood. Thank you, Nick. I'll make sure to put them all to good use.
You sure about that?
Good morning, Mike. Long time no see. This is Candace from Wilds LLC.
My oh my. If it isn't the little girl of Mr. Daniels.
You don't have to keep calling me his little girl anymore. And as of right now, I've been given his company and everything, so you can call me the CEO of Wilds LLC now.
Oh, is that right? He made sure to put his daughter through it all so that she could become the perfect young woman. I can't say the same for the little man in charge of my last job.
Are you talking about that 26-year-old man, Nick, who's taken over your previous company and has started to make a name for himself there?
Right. I'm starting to get a little worried about him, especially after what he's been doing recently.
Well, I've heard all about him.
Huh?
Just yesterday he was talking with me about what he wanted from me, as well as what all happened with you guys. He told me that he had you and 2 other men, Brent and Stewart, fired so that he could hire more of his friends to come work for him.
Is that what happened?
To me, this all seems like unfair termination of your guys' jobs there. And as for me now, I don't mind talking more about what's been happening within that company. So, do you mind telling me a bit more about what's been going on there, and why Nick thinks this is all a good idea?
Sure. As far as I'm aware, he's been trying to work on cutting costs within the company so that he looks better in front of his shareholders. But in order to do that, he began sending a lot of his company's work overseas to be done for cheaper by foreign sources.
He's having everything manufactured overseas?
If the products he was having manufactured outside the US were any good, then I wouldn't be complaining. But it seems he doesn't mind that all the products we get in are trash. Well, anyway, if you want to hear the real reason the 3 of us were fired, it's due to us all complaining about the quality of what the company was bringing in from overseas. And the day after we complained, we were all informed that we've been terminated. At least to keep things as clean as possible with the terminations, he was willing to give us all packages.
I see. So this had nothing to do with him hiring friends to work for him then. Well, have you started to think about what you want to do now?
Well, not yet. I'm not sure what to do now. I've been thinking a lot about my family now, and I've been hoping that they understand that it'll be some time before I can find new work. Not only that, but I'm also getting pretty old now.
Mike, if you don't mind, would you like to come work for me?
Well that's...
And it wouldn't be just you that I'm asking, but Brent and Stewart as well. So what do you think?
Well, that is. I'm very thankful for you offering me a position within your company. We don't have too much longer before we all really start to consider retirement. So are you really okay with the 3 of us being hired into your company and working for you?
Well, to tell you the truth, I've actually begun working on creating a new department within my company. And soon I plan to hire in a lot of younger work to begin handling said new department. But I'm going to need a few men with plenty of years of experience in these fields to come in and train them so that they have a better understanding of the demands my company and this industry have. So if I have the 3 of you, with all the knowledge you men hold, join my company and work your last couple of years with me, then I feel that the opening of this new department will go very smoothly for me.
Is that so? Thinking that much about how to implement the 3 of us into your company. Thank you.
Also, having spoken to you about this, do you mind if I go and talk with Brent and Stewart now about the same thing?
Yes, please go tell them.
Then I'll plan to have them both well informed by this time tomorrow. And as for you becoming an employee within my company, I'd like you to tell me before tomorrow what days you'd like off this next year, and if you have any other demands you'd like me to meet.
Understood. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Candace! Give me back those 3 right now.
Huh? Ah, this must be you, Nick. It's been around a year now since the last time we spoke to one another. Now, what do you mean by me handing those 3 back to you?
Those friends of mine that I hired to work for me ended up being completely useless. I thought for sure that since I knew all of them really well and knew the educations they had, it would work well under my leadership. But they haven't been able to do jack for me, and I can't use them anymore.
Well, that would happen, wouldn't it?
Also, here's something I heard while you've been holding on to these three. Apparently they have all been doing very well for themselves, and are considered top class in their fields now. I had to tell a lot of my customers why the quality of my products have gone down, and when explaining to them that I've gotten rid of Mike and those other two, they let me know how stupid I was.
I knew something like this would happen to you. After all, those friends of yours you've told me you hired are actually a bunch of overseas partners that you've been sending all your work off to for cheaper, hoping to save some money, right? Well, it seems that those savings you gained from doing so also ended up ruining the quality of all your products, and now you're left dealing with some very angry customers.
Please, Candace, give those three back to me so that they could fix all of this.
No way.
Why not?
They've made it very clear to me that they don't want to work under you anymore.
Well, I'll make sure to fix things. If you can get them to come back to me, I'll make sure to never rush a production ever again or ask for anything more out of your company.
No thank you.
What?
I've just finished implementing a new department into my company that has ventured out into some new technologies. And that department has already been making my company tenfold what all the other departments have made. So if I were to send those three back to you, I'd lose my biggest profit maker.
Huh?
Also, on top of that, I told you a year ago when you told me to take them off your hands that if you ever wanted them back, I'd say no. And back then I know for a fact that you agreed with me on that term. So can you please stop trying to break the promise we had?
Candace, please. I'm asking you to please. Please just forget about everything you said to me a year ago and hand those three back to me. That's all I want. I'm not joking when I said that right now. My company is in seriously hot water. If I can't get my company back to producing quality goods, then it's all gonna go under.
Well, telling me all of that isn't going to get you anywhere. I'll be going now.
Hold on a second, Candace! Mike, please! I'm asking you to please come back to my company.
If it isn't my old boss, Nick. It's been such a long time now.
I don't need you to sit there talking like I'm some old friend of yours. Now get your butt back here. I'm telling you right now that I'm willing to hire you again.
I'm sure that what you're saying right now is a load of crap, right?
What are you going on about?
I could have sworn you told Candace that you had the three of us fired to make room for some of your friends to come and work for you, right? And that's the other thing. You didn't want to make it seem as though you fired us for that reason. So you also told Candace that we wanted to change careers anyway, right?
That was...
As far as I'm concerned, you wanted to hide your true intentions from everybody by saying that. Just so you didn't have to fear being taken to court for firing us unfairly. Well, no worries, Nick. We had only been with your company since the day it was founded by your father, and had made sure to work there with all loyalty to you guys. But after being fired by you for BS excuses, I think we no longer see you as the man your father was, and that's okay.
Huh?
As of right now, Brent, Stewart, and I no longer have to be worried about what we are going to do, because we have a new boss in charge of us, who is far more caring about the experiences we have as our employees. And, unlike you, she plans to only hold on to us for the next few years, so that when it's time for us to want to retire, she'll give us a very nice package and let us go. Of course, we could come back to you when our time is up here and we've retired, but remember, we no longer feel loyal to you and your company, so I don't think you'll ever get our help when the time comes. Well, that's if your company is even around by that point.
Candace, hey, please. How about you get married to me and then start helping my company get back on its feet so that the two of us can become a power couple?
Are you kidding me?
I understand that it's not what either of us want right now, but I'd much rather be married to you and keep my company than have it to go under and no longer have any money. In other words, I don't have any other choice besides marrying you and getting your help. You don't even have to stay with me after my company is back on its feet. you can divorce me right after that. So please come help me.
Well, listen to this, Nick.
Yes?
I'm already married.
Huh? But your last name? That's the same name as your father's.
Well, that's because my husband ended up taking my family's name. And as of right now, we already have 2 kids, both in elementary school.
What the heck?
So we can be finished here, right?
I'm screwed.
Goodbye now, Nick. In the end, it seems that the second-generation CEO of that company ended up taking the company under. He did make mistakes by thinking he could cut costs by sending workers out to overseas partners to make parts for him. But the thing that really sunk his company was more personal. It's understandable that keeping workers for a very long time will see them costing you more money to keep employed, especially when they're good at their jobs. But Nick made a huge mistake getting rid of 3 of his best men so that he can cut costs, even though they were the ones carrying his company and making sure the quality was right. Anyway, after the loss of his company, he was still in debt to a few banks that he had been taking loans from to try and help his company. And to help start making some money to pay them off, he began working for one of his friends, at the starting level on the floor of the factory. But of course, he never lost that toxic personality of his, and so relations with the other workers within the factory began to sour. And before long, he was out of that job as well. I'm not sure what's happened to Nick since then, but I'm sure he's regretting what he did to his company a while back and will never be able to move on from it. And as for my company, we have been doing really well this year and expect to do even better these coming years thanks to the new department. However, it won't be long before I have to say goodbye to Mike and the guys, as they'll soon be on their way to retiring. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.